welcome to another episode of 73.96. मैं पापा जानी और वो. Today we have brought you another guest because you gave so much love to our previous episode with our guest, and I want you to give the same love to this episode, and I'm sure you will because the person we have today. Before I introduce the guest, I just want to say that everybody who loves Papa or who loves Mr. Qaiser and whoever has admired Mr. Qaiser for so long, and everybody talks about, oh, he's so great, he's so motivational and everything. But today, the guest we have is how Mr. Qaiser talks about him. Oh, he's so great. Oh, he's so motivational. However I feel about you, I think you have your guest today. Yes. So let's welcome Mr. Mo. As we call him Mo, but his name is Mohammad Jhomani.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you,
How
guys.
are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
I'm so sorry we made you wait so much.
No, that's fine. No way.
And thank you so much for
Face or
coming.
anything.
Thank you so much for coming to the show.
No worries. Thank you.
Don't blame me for the nervousness because I have a very good mentor, my friend. This is my brother.
How have you been like working together? First of all, I need to know like a good fun story, the first time you guys met each other.
Well, we were looking for a creative director, and then Qaiser walked in for an interview, and we had a very urgent project, and I was like, listen, interviews are a waste of time. I have this project. How about you work with us and see your work? And he said, okay. And he took the brief. He came back after a few days or maybe next day.
Yes, next.
With a full campaign. And I was like, this is your work. It was like an agency work, like from A to Z. Ever since, I called him an agency. Because he does everything from A to Z, you know.
That's what we know, the Papa's nickname.
You know, Shadi also said the same thing to me because maybe he took a word that from you. He said the Qaiser is a full agency.
What about you? Any fun story the first time you met him?
Actually, I have a lot of story, but I don't want to ruin the show. So first he started.
No, let's recall something. What was your first thought of meeting
Actually, when I came in UAE in 2007, in 2008, I applied for the job because I saw the good branding in O2 in 2008. I applied for the job. That time I was a senior graphic designer. I 2 times applied. Nobody replied me on that. And after
why would you do that?
2016, I applied again. I got a response, and then rest of the history. So I worked with him like 3.5 years.
Yeah, 3.5 years.
Yeah. We have heard a lot about you, Mo, already.
Thank you.
I have
hope
specifically.
good things.
So you can tell your journey because you had a very good and roller coaster kind of the life from Syria to here, and then. You can
make it short and make it interesting and tell us about your journey, especially when it comes to business.
I started my work as a graphic designer in 1994. I was one of the few designers that had a computer in my village. And then in 1997, I decided that I should make a move. I came to Dubai and I joined a very small agency. Actually, it was a very fun story when I read. Back then in 97, 98, there was no LinkedIn, no social. So we had to look for a job in the newspaper. So I saw this ad for a female artist, graphic designer wanted. And I was like, okay, I'll apply. Then I call, and then they had this fax. They don't have a telephone. So I had a trick. I called the Itisalat. There was no do. So I called Itisalat. I said, I have my friend's fax number and I want to get their phone number. So I gave the fax number. They gave me the phone number and I called and I asked, they said, we're looking for a female. I said, just give me your address. I went the next day and I did the interview and they hired me and everything became history now. This is when I started in Dubai. That was the short story.
Okay, then you start your own business and then spread everywhere in the
I never, like when I started my job as a graphic designer, I always wanted to grow. And there is only one way to grow is by learning. You can never grow without education. So education is key to growth. So I never stopped learning, and so I went to university, and then I quit my job in 2001. I went to Australia. I studied English, came back again to Dubai. It is like a magnet. Every time I decide to leave Dubai, I come back. It's like there is something that I don't know what it is, but it's there. So when I came back, I joined the same job again. And then I studied marketing to move from graphic design because I wanted to become a manager or an account director. And then in 2005, I went to my boss and I said, look, we can grow this business to become a bigger business, a global business. And I had a plan and he did not take me seriously. So next day I quit my job and I told him, look, whatever I gave you the plan, I want to go and do it. So I quit my job. I was 25 years old, and then I started O2 on December 4th, 2005.
Oh.
Yeah, that was it was my birthday, December 4th.
Uh,
So that day, everything I wanted to do in my previous job, I did it in O2.
okay, then your business spread all over the Middle East and then Singapore.
So from day one, we had this vision to become a global player, but at the same time, we wanted to be a homegrown agency. So we don't want to rely on networks. So, any agency would open anywhere in the world. Their objective would be to be acquired by a global agency or international business to grow globally. But we took that as a very strategic decision to grow organically. So from within. So the first branch we opened was in Dubai, and then Abu Dhabi, then Bahrain. Then in Qatar, actually Qatar, we had one of the biggest projects, the Agent Cup. That was a multi-million-dollar business that we have won at that time in 2010. Actually, we won that business at the middle of the financial crisis, so it was very good to have it. Then we opened in Oman, and then it was the first global expansion was in Hong Kong. So I wanted to go to East, and then decided to go to China through Hong Kong. And that's it. Yeah, that was the international expansion of O2.
But I want to know is because I also started my business back in 2019, and it's not easy to start a business, especially at the age of, I think I was 23, but 22. And I was like, okay, I knew that I wanted to do business, my own terms, and I wanted my own working hours. And I didn't want to work for anyone. So I knew that I wanted a business, but there were so many failed, how do you say?
Attempts?
Yeah, failed attempts. There was so much of breaks that I would have in my business. So I want to know, how do you know you have to continue no matter how low it can get?
No one can answer this question apart from you. The question that you should ask yourself every day before you go to work: why did I start this? What's the reason? If there is no reason, that's fine. Find the reason. And that reason should be strong enough to keep you going. If that reason don't keep you going, then it's the wrong reason. We in life or business, we do so many right things for the wrong reason. That's how entrepreneurs, or what you call the entrepreneurs, they think they're doing the right thing. Yeah, you're doing the right thing. Is it for the right reason? That's the question. Now, a reason could be to become rich. That's enough reason. Another reason is to inspire others. And another reason to have a better life for my family. So many reasons. That reason is unique for everyone. My idol or my mentor or my role model is Khalid Ghassan, very well, and Jack Welch. If I take their reason, I wouldn't be able to continue because everyone has his own unique reason. But I can take the way they do business, but not the reason.
Yes, everyone has own.
Exactly.
You want to say something?
So yeah, that's a very interesting story. And that's, again, we were in the middle of the financial crisis. All agencies had really turbulence of going on. It was very difficult to sustain the service industry. And I still remember I was in Qatar trying to get one business, and I got that in newspaper. And they had a tender announcement for the Agent Cup. So I told to my team member in Qatar, let's go and buy the tender document. I remember it was 500 riyal. So we got that document and so many conditions. It was a very big contract. So one of the conditions, the agency who pitched for the business should be a global international business with offices all around the world, and many other conditions. So when I sent that document to my team, they all say the same thing: you're going to waste your time. They are requiring a huge agency, and this is their requirement, and we don't fall under these conditions. And at night I was like, what's going to happen if we present or we apply? What's going to happen? The worst is they reject us, right? So that's fine. We got rejected so many times in so many pitches, right? So that's something we used to. But I could not tell my team because they all rejected. So what I did, I broke down that project into small pieces. And I gave to every employee a small piece to do. And I said, look, they want to do that small thing, let's do it. And then my job was to gather all this, to put it together in one full presentation without them knowing that we're pitching for the whole account. Some of them, they knew because I needed some people to be in my side. So some of them knew that. So what we did actually, we did the whole presentation and we submitted. I went personally into the tendering office in an envelope and I put it and everything. So because of our name, it misled the committee. They thought we are a global agency. They did not research. Because all of the companies who applied were global agencies.
Global, yeah.
They didn't even had one doubt that one of these agencies is not global, is not international. They took it for granted that everyone is international. And we went and we were one of the 5 shortlisted agencies. So that was the first thing we have avoided. The second, so when we went, they called us for a presentation. I remember it was me and 2 other people. That's a 3. And the other shortlisted agencies, YNR, one of the biggest international companies, YNR. I remember Ogilvy. Yes, Ogilvy and YNR and us and one more. They had team flying from London, New York, like every agency, they have at least 17 members. Directors, and we were so small.
Only 3 people.
I was asking myself, and I think everyone there asked the same, what are you doing here? We were really we were wrong. Even when we entered to the pitch presentation, it is the YNR were 11 people, Ogilvy 7 or 8 people, and we were 3. And the client then asked, who's your agency in this? But then I immediately jumped to the presentation because I didn't want to be shortlisted in the day of the presentation if they knew we are not an international agency. So I had to take a decision on the spot. I did not answer that question. And then went to the presentation, I did it and everything. So out of the 5 agencies, 3 got shortlisted. And we were one of them. But the reason the client shortlisted us, because in the brief, they wanted 1 lead agency and another 2 agencies underneath them, small. So my team told me, okay, good. If we got that small agency that come underneath the lead agency, that's good. But I said, no, let's wait. Next day, the unexpected happened. They called me 11 p.m. and they told me tomorrow is the meeting at the palace. But the Emir office said only 1 person to come from each agency. And that person should speak Arabic. The whole criteria of evaluation changed overnight. In seconds, we became on top. 1, all of the Arabic-speaking team members at other agencies were executives. I was the CEO. Now 8 people from the other agencies, and we were 3. Now we are all equal. 1. So I went to the palace. They sent me a car. They took me to the palace. They took us to protocol office. We sat. They told us what to say, what not to say. So our meeting was supposed to be 10 minutes. It took 30 minutes. I was the first agency. So we finished and I left. They told me, you can go and take your car and leave to the hotel. I did not. So I went to the protocol office and I sat, waited until the other agencies finished. So the team came out and they said, why are you still here? I was like, I thought you told me to stay. No, we said to leave. Then that guy said, no, stay. We'll talk. So we sat. I left. Next day, they called me. They said, Muhammad, where is your headquarters? I was like, what headquarters? Then they discovered we are not an international business. But guess what? It was too late because the Emir said, work with them. They can't go to the Emir and say, hey, we shortlisted the wrong company. We did not do due diligence, right? They can't do that. And they called me and said, can you handle the business? I said, yeah, of course I can. And deep inside me, the answer was, no, I can't. Yeah, and then it was really a very good contract. It was the biggest ever I have.
Throughout the meetings, they did not know that you were not international.
Because you as an entrepreneur should forget something called assumptions. Just go with what you have. Things change, things unfold. Because when you are determined to achieve something, the whole universe starts changing around you to help you achieve that determination. But you have true determination, not fake. The minute you have that determination, you notice the whole universe will start changing towards
According to you.
helping
According to you, yeah.
achieving your objective. And once you achieve it, you look back, guess what? You have done nothing yourself. It's all things around you that moved in different directions that led you to this position. That's why I always say to the people I mentor, some wrong path would lead you to the right destination. Not all right paths.
Right paths.
No, some wrong path. You took a wrong path. You studied the wrong major. Doesn't matter. The greatest exploration on earth was by Christopher Columbus. It was a wrong path.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So as you are, you have your own business. So if someone start from that generation, the own business, so they is my argument. I told them every time, you should have some experience in as a job. You should not start business immediately. And these days, as a very big freelance marketing. So everyone start with the freelance from home and then start business. I think this is a very big mistake. So what you
can when you are doing freelancing from home, you are building a job. When you go to work with a company, a team, you are building a career. Yes, everyone can build a job, but not everyone can build a career. I didn't say
this thing, but that thing somehow is stuck in my mind, because in office you learn the
of course relationship
and
it's
a lot of things.
It is not about what you know anymore. It's about who you know. I'm not against working from home, actually. No. But when you go to work, I started when I was 25. I don't say I regret it, but I wish I waited a little bit longer.
As in starting the business?
Yeah. But circumstances around me just led me to go and do it. Everything was prepared for me to have my own business. Now, the biggest issue I see in the community now are those who comes on YouTube, Instagram, and they promote themselves as an entrepreneur, and they keep saying to young people like your daughter, follow your passion, start your own business and all this. And it's a trap. These people, they're sitting at home just doing the talk. But if you put them in the position to manage one employee, I challenge all of these, most of them, they will fail. I would never listen, ever, to someone. I would never let someone who never started a business to tell me how to run my business. Before you listen to someone, check his background. 95% of people talking about entrepreneurship on Instagram, they have no idea what management is all about. They think that automatically you become an entrepreneur when you start a business. That's a myth. You know when you become an entrepreneur? When you sustain the business. Everyone can start a business. But not everyone can sustain.
That's true.
No one can maintain and continue the business. No one can manage the business. You know what management is? Management is not only managing people around you. Just count. Finance management, operation management, client management, team management, resources management, inventory management, pricing management, contract management, government management, self-management. You as an entrepreneur should know how to manage each of these. And guess what? Not one or two or three. All of them. At once. It's not like you go today, you are the finance manager. Tomorrow you are the operation manager. No, it's not a choice. The first thing that you should learn, that when you become an entrepreneur, you have no choices to make. People think an entrepreneur has luxury of making the choices when he go to work. Today I want to do finance management too. No, it's not. You become hooked to the circle of entrepreneurship that you should do. You should know little about everything. The minute you know a lot about one thing, you're not an entrepreneur. You're good at manager. You're good at what you do. That's why 90% of hospital managers are not doctors. You know why? Because doctors know a lot about one thing. A good entrepreneurial manager should know little about everything.
All the tiny details.
Yes. And that's a big difference between American education and British education. My MBA is a British education. My PhD or DBA is American education. In the US, they teach you little about everything. In UK, no. They teach you a lot about one thing. So if you're in finance, you are great at finance. You know nothing about marketing. That's why I like the American. For entrepreneurs, American education is better. But for people who aspire for long-term job security and long-term creativity, education in UK is much better. That's why most of the global entrepreneurs come from the US, because of the education system that encourage failure, encourage learning, and also encourage taking risks. And that's I always tell my team or my people that entrepreneurship is not about taking risk. Entrepreneurship is about reducing risk. That's another myth. They think if I become an entrepreneur, I should take risk every day. No, you should minimize the risk. Minimize the risk of non-payment from your clients. That's a risk. Minimize the risk of team leaving you. That's a risk. Minimizing the risk of losing clients. Minimizing the risk of external factors that you have no control over, like financial factors in the market. You cannot control. You have to react to it.
I think I'm just going to listen to you today.
Actually, this shows our target audience is the Pakistan. Back in Pakistan, everyone, I'm talking about everyone, most of the 90% people want to start their business immediately after their graduation. I don't know why I fail in my business, because I had a very good business in 1999 to 2006. But I failed because I as you said, I didn't cover the all part because my finance part very bad. I totally fail on that part. And that's why I fail, and then I start my job career. I did very good in the job, but I was not good in the business. But in Pakistan, everyone want to start business. This is my argument, and you give me the answer of that question also.
It's by nature. We as a human, by nature, we always want to have our own.
Yes.
You have your own ball, you want to have your own room.
As I said, my own working hours.
It's by nature.
Yeah.
And remember that one of the really greatest entrepreneurs that the Middle East, and the first unicorn in the Middle East was built by a Pakistani. Kareem Story. Was the first unicorn, right?
Yeah.
Was the first Mudassar, right?
Yes.
And he's a very humble person. He's a real entrepreneur. He started from scratch. He don't show off, like you go to his social media, you meet him personally. I like that guy. I don't know how much he represents Pakistan, but I like 3 Pakistanis that I know. I like Qaiser, obviously, Mudassar, and Imran Khan. Yeah. So, but what I always preach and talk about is the concept of entrepreneurship. We need more entrepreneurs. An entrepreneur is someone who started his own business, become successful and save a problem, and become a millionaire. For the sake of argument, let's say that this is the definition of entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is someone who managed a business that he never started, and he solved problems through that and flourish that business or expand that business. And there's so many examples that you should learn about, like Carlos Ghosn. He never started his own business. He always worked for others, but he was an entrepreneur. Jack Welch, he never started any business. And he was the greatest businessman ever that we knew. He led GE from a commodity business to a sustainable long-term business, like in the 80s, right? Mm-hmm. The third example is Roy Disney. We all know about Walt Disney, but we don't know that Walt Disney was very, I mean, he almost killed Disney and almost got bankrupt until Roy came in place. And he was an entrepreneur who took Disney from just a concept. Disney was just like an animation company. He came with the concept of materializing this animation. So he came with the concept of the Lion King, and he actually created the theater in Manhattan, and then he created the Disneyland, and then he created this merchandise concept. It did not exist. So when Walt Disney was in charge of Disney, the experience between you and Disney would end when the movie ends. That's it, right? The maximum you do next day is to remember the movie. So that life cycle relationship between you and the community or the people was so short to create profitable business. So what Roy Disney did, he created the Manhattan show, and then he also created the merchandise. So you would sell pen, books, bags, shirts, whatever. Yeah. So the relationship between the lifetime relationship between the brand and people became more than just the movie.
More longer.
And then he created the experience. Actually, I live in US just 10 minutes away from Anaheim, where the first Disneyland was created. Mm-hmm. So then he created Disneyland. The experience was extended even further. Mm. So does that mean Walt Disney himself was not an entrepreneur? No, he was a great entrepreneur. But you know what was his mistake? He followed his passion. And that's a myth. In Instagram and YouTube and everywhere, they say, follow your passion. It's a trap. Don't follow your passion. Don't. I guarantee you, most of the people who follow their passion failed.
Really?
Most. Like Walt Disney, one of them. Nikola Tesla, you know Nikola Tesla, failed. If Steve Jobs did not die in the 50s early, and he continued managing Apple the way he managed it in this era, Apple would fail. Because Steve Jobs was so passionate about his vision and so determined that it's my way or no way. Apple continued because of his death. Tim Cook came and he did something that Steve Jobs was against, to go into the service industry. Now they have a bank. Mm. You know, Apple Pay, they give you credit card with Goldman Sachs. They create Apple TV, they create movies. So they went into the service industry. They were going into cars. That was, Steve always wanted Apple to be a product, a tangible product. He never wanted Apple to go into the service industry. And I always say that because he died, now Apple is continuing his legacy. He's such an inspiration. I'm not criticizing him. I'm just saying the way he managed the business was so passionate that he wouldn't have survived these economical circumstances around us at the moment. So my advice to young people, don't follow your passion. Work passionately. There's a big difference between following your passion, because when you follow your passion, you will become blind. You would not see numbers. Sometimes you need to change the numbers, how you operate, the costs, the pricing, the outsourcing, the inventory, all of these, they are linked to numbers. Passion is linked to emotional feelings, things that is intangible, things that you live by. But guess what? These things that you live by, you can never share with your team. Your team wants money, wants salary, wants bonuses, wants success, wants growth. Your company, your shareholders, they all want all of that. Do them passionately. Forget about passion. It's a trap. It is a commodity that those entrepreneurs, I call them entrepreneurs, who come onto Instagram and they start talking about entrepreneurship. And the easiest thing they would say, hey, quit your job and follow your passion. Look at this he did. Come on, one minute. Steve Jobs did not follow his passion. He was passionate about what he does, and he's a Stanford graduate. 1 day in Stanford equal 2 years in other universities. He was technically strong. Bill Gates, he was technically strong. So instead of following your passion, learn and make yourself perfect at what you do. Because the more you know, the less you need people. The more you know, the more people need you. Remember this.
Do you have some answer?
I'm lost today.
Now remember my.
I'm thinking
But-
of
but
all
I
the
was
mistakes
saying-
I've been doing.
Yeah.
So 2 days you learn a lot, and you will correct your business and big you also for that, because
I think as a successful entrepreneur is someone who would learn from others' mistake. Learn from other mistakes. Learn from others' mistakes. Learn from others' mistakes. It's free education. It's a free experience. Why did this company fail? Why did this company fail? Why this person failed? He failed because he took more decisions than you. So learn from these decisions. But these people, entrepreneurs, they would fail once, they will come back again. They will fail, they will come back again. The amount of failures that I had in my career is just, I just can't count them. Probably 10 times or more than the mistakes or failure that most of the people in my age have done. The minute you realize your mistakes, the first decision you could ask yourself, how can I learn from that mistake? And it's a myth, or it's wrong when people say, don't do this mistake again. It is not your choice. Sometimes you do the same mistake 2, 3, 4 times, that's okay. You know why? Because sometimes you believe that, okay, I did this decision, it was wrong in 2005, and I thought that in 2010, the same decision would be right because circumstances have changed. And you do that decision. Remember that in business, all decisions, when you make it, are right. All decisions, always right. What makes a decision wrong or right is 2 things. Time. With time, you would figure out this was a right decision or wrong. Second, circumstances around you. Changes. Sometimes I hire the right person in 1 year, I get technology that replaces that person. Does that mean I hired the wrong person? No. A year ago, that technology did not exist. Now it does exist. And we humans are programmed to always remember or to always navigate through wrong decisions in our life. But actually, you make much more right decisions than the wrong decisions in your life. But this is how human brain navigate. And that's in business. If you want to become a business person, I don't want to say a businessman so you don't get offended. So if you want to become a business person, the first thing you have to be prepared is that you're going to make a lot of mistakes. And I'll give you a good news. When you are an entrepreneur, when you are an employee, you pay once as the price of the mistakes. When you are an entrepreneur, you pay it twice. You pay the price of your mistakes and your team mistakes. If you are not prepared as a person to pay the price of the mistake of your team, then don't call yourself an entrepreneur. You're a manager. When you have a problem at work and you go and say to your line manager, I have a problem, you are a messenger. When you have a problem and you have a solution and you go to your line manager and say, I found this problem at work and I found the solution. You are a manager. When you find a problem and you solve it, and you go to your manager and tell him, look, I found this problem and I solved it. You are a leader. When you find a problem, you solve the problem, and you don't go to your manager. You look for another problem to solve. You are an entrepreneur. Never show to your line manager. Only knock your line manager door in 2 cases only. The first, when you have a problem that you cannot solve. And the second, when you have a very good news that you need to share with him. I've learned that from one of my previous managers. He told me, never knock my door unless you have one of these 2 things. That will make you naturally born an entrepreneur. Intuitive entrepreneur, like true entrepreneur. Because usually we go always to our managers when we have a problem. 90% that when we knock the door is that when you have a problem with your colleagues.
Yeah.
And that's what I always tell the young people, the young generation. When you go to business, it is as if you are going to a war. Don't expect that everyone will become your friend. Expect everyone is your enemy until they prove otherwise they are friends. So don't worry. Enemies will evolve. Don't spend time or effort to make enemies. Just spend time to do your job right. I had few employees that I always call them a star. Because when you are a director and a manager of business owner, you need to have what I call like employee or team or staff portfolio, right? You have a portfolio. The first are those who knows how to do their job, so technically strong, and they are willing to do it. These are cash cows. They make so much money for you. So much money. They are technically strong like you. You are my cash cow. You are technically strong and you are willing to give. You are a cash cow. The second are the people who don't know how to do the job. So technically not strong, like fresh grad, but they are so willing to do it. These people are stars. These people are stars. The third, and that's the worst, people who are strong technically, but they don't want to do the job. Most of these people are people who are, they want to prove to everyone around them that I know this job, so I don't do it much. So, and it's these people are usually motivated by money. The first, like Qaiser, no, you would never motivate him by money. And the proof, when Qaiser came and I hired him, I knew that this guy is strong. He's a strong technically, and he's willing to do the job. He's a star. I gave him 30% less than his previous job.
Yes.
But I gave him an opportunity because I immediately profiled him and he accepted the job. I knew him. I got him. And the fourth are, people who are not strong technically and they're not willing. These, I don't want to say with the word, but it's a very bad word, so I'll just leave it. But leave them. Now, you know who's the hardest to manage? Who you think the hardest to manage? You have the stars, cash cows, question mark. Question mark are those who are strong technically, they're not willing to do the job. Stars are those technically strong and they want to do the job. And the stars are the ones who technically not strong, but they're so willing. So the hardest are the stars.
I was going to say that. You didn't wait for my answer. Yeah.
The hardest are the stars. So hard to manage them. I had so many examples of stars in my career. And I still remember these people. They're so hard because they are not motivated by money. They are people who are still young. They always think that the grass are greener outside always. They always think there is somewhere, somehow with someone, an opportunity that I fit better in it. So you need to always tell them that I can create that opportunity for you. I can give you a new job. And they get bored so quickly. So you need to motivate them with that. So how can we manage these people? You need to make them strong technically and move them from stars to cash cows. If you don't know how to manage them, you will move them from from stars to either the other part, which I don't want to say the name. I don't know. I have to find a name for that fourth quarter because The name I have isn't as good as it should be in podcast. They either move from stars to cash cows or from stars to question marks. They become technically strong, but they don't want to do the job anymore. They are not motivated. All of these an entrepreneur should know by nature. How do you get that? By experience. That's why I say to myself, I wish I waited a little bit longer. Don't listen to entrepreneurs. Listen to those who made it. Listen to those who made the mistakes. Listen to those who took the decision to become an entrepreneur, and find a mentor. Most of the people around me, they started their business. Oh yeah, I did this online business, and 90% of them into online, which is fine. I was like, yeah, wow, cool. Who's your mentor? What? Okay. Who is managing your finances? What? The biggest mistake I did in my life, that was finance manager should have been the first employee I hire. The first. But I was ignorant. I didn't know. I hired him maybe after 7 or 8 months from starting. And it's not late, by the way. 7, 8 months is not. For me, it was late. Hire, if you cannot afford one, get one on a part-time. Get a friend of yours. And one of the lessons that I've learned in my career was, if you don't ask, you don't get. If you don't ask, you don't get. The second lesson. When you ask for money, you will end up getting an advice. Always. When you go and ask money from someone, why do you need it? Oh, I need to do this. Oh, you should do that. You should do this. Start giving an advice. When you ask for money, you will end up getting an advice. When you ask for an advice, you start making money. Never knock at the door to someone and say, I need money to do my business. Never. Knock the door and say, I need an advice. I'm doing this, this, and that. Trust me. One of those people that you knock their doors, they will call you. Oh, do you need an investor? Do you need to put money with you? People who has money, they always want to put the money with someone who don't need money. They will put it in the bank. The bank has money. We bet and trust the bank because the bank has so much money. Now, did I learn these in days? No, in years and years. It is easy to sit here and start navigating through my previous experiences and mistakes. Easy to share, but it was so hard to reach to where I have reached today. Did I call myself successful? That's the last person I call myself as a successful. Because success is extremely subjective, and success means different things to different people. Yeah. I'll start with you. What success is for you?
When I have my own business running.
Sustainable business. That's nice. What is success to you?
Sustainability.
Sustainability in what?
In whatever I'm doing with my family.
Which is the same. But you looked at family and ideas of what success is. You have different. It's unique to everyone. That's what you, as a businessman, should know, that success is not something that you define. If success is something that you define, everyone becomes successful. I will define my own success as a small thing. Buying a car, that's it, I'm become successful. Right? Success is what the market needs. For me, success is defined by first your employees, second your clients, third by the community you live in. Last is you. Last is you. Who are you to define success for yourself? People should perceive you successful by the things you do in business, by the profit you generate, by the way you manage your businesses or business, and by the way your team perceived you. When your team leave, they always remember, they would never say, hey, I took an amazing salary in that company, or I got paid on this. They remember how good you were with them.
I think we cover a lot of things about the business, so we have to make the environment little bit normalized. We
think
have
the
to
show
discuss
name.
some
No.
some personal things also, little bit personal, not too much personal. So, secondly, many things I like about you, but one thing, relationship with your daughter, and you, as you once you said, I never judge my daughter because I love this, and this motivate me. So after that, I also make this rule at home, and she was a witness for that. So
He said we're never gonna judge the family
each
members,
other.
basically. Each other, yes.
Yeah, before that, because I'm not this, I'm not saying this is my, but I somehow I learned that we have to give the advice and sometimes, hey, you should not do like that, this and that. So what is why you said it, and how your relationship with your daughter, and
How
First
is
of
she
all,
now?
I always say that your daughter or your daughter will need you the most when she do a mistake. So many parents do the mistake of when their daughter commit a mistake, they will start at least not blaming her, but at least like judging her. At that moment, she needs you, so you need to ask the question: what happened? What happened before the mistake and after the mistake? Why did you do that? And what happened after you did that? But not, I would never ask, why did you do that? The second, I always tell my daughter, I do all what I do for you, not because I'm expecting anything from you in the future. Not even expecting her to become successful to that extent. I'm expecting nothing from you.
nothing.
Just nothing. I'm expecting nothing from you. Because I don't want her to feel that I'm like working on her education or in her career, whatever, because no, it's just I have to, and because I love you, because you're my daughter, and that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. And the third, I would always say to her, bravo, well done, nice, whatever she does. So encourage her, whatever, like small or big. Whatever she do, I always say, yeah, bravo, nice, wow, really? Wow. And I always ask the question, what do you think of? Like, this is something we lack in our education system. That I don't remember that as a teacher opened the subject in the class and asked me, what do you think of this? They will ask you, what happened, or answer this, but the greatest question that you could ask to open a conversation and navigate through your child brain is, what do you think of this? What would you do if you were, like when my daughter started telling me how one of her friends did something wrong, in her opinion is wrong, and maybe in my opinion is wrong, I would say, what would you do if you were in her place? She would say, what do you mean? I say, what do you do if you were in her place? Would you do the same thing? The answer is always, I don't know. But that would really let your child open their head a little bit more than just judging them or by ordering them. And the first and last rule in raising children, one rule: your kids will take little of what you say, and they will take a lot of what you do. If you smoke, that's it. If you speak the whole day about how smoking is bad, that's it. They will take what you do. If you don't smoke, they will take what you do. They wouldn't smoke, at least. That's the first and last rule. Your kids will take little of what you say and will take more of what you do.
This is something he has always told us also. Not that, even when we were kids, it was like, when you have kids, like we're still kids.
So you have any question to Mo? And Mo, you can ask me. And
you ask us something.
Yeah, I would love to.
Since the show has already become more talks than more than 73.96.
I'll start with your daughter.
Okay.
I know that Qaiser as a father is a great person. But when it comes for Qaiser, the mentor, what is the one thing that you want him to keep and never lose, no matter what circumstances. Not as a father, as a mentor.
As a mentor, okay, the same thing that I'm going to talk about is used to be very annoying when we were young, because he wanted everything to be perfect. And as kids, we were like it's okay if like one person or two person something is not right. Like most of the, for example, if you see the dish, okay, it's looking nice. It's like, no, it has to be completely fine. As long like you can do it, you should do it perfectly. It's like, okay, as long you cannot do it, then it's a different story. So, but which now I think he should keep that, because I have become like that also. When I know I can make it 100% perfect, I will do it no matter how late it is getting or how, the time has gone and everything. So this is something I want him to keep, and whatever students he have in future.
So something that in your childhood did not
was
like,
annoying to me.
now it's something that you want your dad to keep.
And it has come into me also.
Okay, so if you would give him one piece of advice
to my father,
what that would be? Not as a father again.
Oh, okay, as a mentor. To have a little bit of more ease, maybe.
Take it easy on himself.
Yeah. I think, at this age, I think he needs to chill out.
I'm still that kind of father.
He said not as a father.
No,
Okay.
as a mentor. I don't know. That daughter-father relationship is something that it is so unique between father and daughter that no one can figure out how it is. It's very unique. I can't even go there. Like my relationship with my daughter is so unique that you can never define it. You can never, Now, question to you, Qaiser.
Yeah.
What if you would go back to where you were 17 years old, like before you get married even? Would you do what you have done?
Actually, whatever I done, people say, and people look on me and say, Qaiser did. But actually, I didn't do anything. The destiny pushed me for the marriage, for my work, my everything. They pushed me. But if I made some mistake during this to reach till here, I embrace the mistakes. I embrace my challenging. I embrace everything. I really like my journey.
So if we ask you that you must change one decision, what would be that?
I don't want to change anything.
No, you must. It's just like, it's not an option. One decision that you took.
Actually, the same question I answered on my previous. Actually, I made very bad decision for around the finance, because I'm not a good financer, and I made a lot of mistake while I was doing my business. When I had a branch in the UAE and head office in Pakistan. So the same thing which you told me, you have to know about the finance, but I was not aware about the finance. So I made that mistake. If I could get chance again, so maybe I will not do the finance decision, because I'm not good. Maybe I'm that kind of person, the right side of the mind, left side of the mind, not the right side of the mind. So
because you are a creative person.
Actually, I'm not consider myself creative. I am a good observer.
What about entrepreneurship? Or what makes an entrepreneur an entrepreneur?
Try, do mistakes, and sustain.
Sustainability.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. So
do you have to ask him something?
No. Actually, this is 1 hour.
I just want to say that this podcast was not enough more. I need you more in my life.
No, now after more, you have to pay for it. One is fine for Qaiser. Okay, but be careful. Be careful.
First of all, thank you very much, because
this
is very, very big thing for me. When you say yes to yes, I will come. So first of all, I didn't realize you say yes. You will come to me and take part in my project.
That's another mistake that entrepreneurs do. They don't realize their true value. You should realize how important you are. You think you are not important, but you are important. Okay. You, everyone is important. Yeah. Like, because we wear different hats. Now I am wearing the entrepreneur hat, giving lessons. In maybe few hours from now, I will be playing the cat hat, playing with my daughter, and she's on my back. And to that extent, I'm wearing the father hat. Tomorrow, I might be wearing the driver hat because our driver is busy or something and I have to deliver something to a client. I would just, you remember, I would wear the driver's hat and happily do it. If you are not willing to wear 1,000 hats, then don't try to become an entrepreneur. Don't. 1,000 hats, driver hats, finance manager hat, father hat. So don't underestimate yourself, my friend.
When we
Qaiser.
were discussing about the podcast and the guest list, you were already there, but he was not sure of if going to come. That I have to tell you, he was not sure that it will come.
I feel bad for myself that I gave you that impression about myself that
No,
I
because
No, not
didn't
an
come.
impression because you're busy
So,
and
so much busy and
He keeps for the last few months sending me messages and I ignore.
yes. And now,
You know why? Because he never called. He never. And then I answered until now. I just day before yesterday answered. I said, "Hey, what's up?" Because I got fed up from ignoring him. He never called. He has my US number. He has my Dubai number. And I like people who just call. Just call and say, "Hey, how are you?" That's it.
Okay,
You know what I mean? I ignored all his messages. And then yesterday I was sitting and I was like, no, when day before
Day before
yesterday.
Day before yesterday.
And I was like, I would like you to become part of our podcast. I said, okay. I was like, okay.
As most said,
When
if
do you
you
want
don't ask, you will never know
Exactly.
the answer.
If you don't ask, you will never get. You asked and you got.
But I don't want to make you feel bad, but this, just random calls, hey, how are you? He does to everyone. He's that kind of
Now
person.
I forgive you. So that's something in you.
Anyways, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for all
My
the
pleasure.
lessons. I
Thank
think
you.
we didn't speak at all. It's okay because we got to learn so much.
I'm sorry.
No, but I like that. I
You-
like listening to such topics.
This is what I do in life. I talk. If you don't stop me, I will keep going. So
No, it's fine. It's fine. I listen to him all day, so it's nothing new for me. Thank you. Last thoughts for you? What do you want to say about Mo? Last thoughts, just last thoughts.
thank you very much. So the confidence which he gave me in the 2016, so now it's 2023 and still I have that feeling which that confidence he gave me. So if I sustain till now and inshallah I will sustain more some more years. So because of him, because when I came to his office, that time I was
At the lowest, yeah.
part of my motive as a what
Yeah.
you can say the mid crisis of the life, mid crisis of the career, whatever you can say, but
Yeah.
you anchor me, and now still I'm.
Can I say something? When he accepted your job, I don't know if you like it or not, but me personally, I was like, why did he take this job? Again, the salary thing, I was like, no, but then slowly I saw him very happy at O2,
yeah.
which I kind of accept. I was like, as long as you're happy, if you're not getting the money you wanted or anything, but I think that was a good thing. Then I was like, okay, you can work here. Not that he was taking my opinion.
So
but
he gave me another lease of my career life.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
No way.
And after the podcast, I think for 1 year, I'm also sorted and motivated. Do you have any last thoughts on the podcast?
I always comment and like on your videos, but I don't know anything, so I don't know what I'm liking. But keep going, guys.
No,
I like
don't worry. It's all
I like
good.
the name and the branding. Very, very.
I need to bring the ring which
Ring.
you gave me, which you brought from the USA, but in rush I forget to.
Yeah.
Today I want to wear that.
No worries.
Unfortunately, about.
I also like rings. Just
Do you hear?
yeah, he already heard that.
She like rings.
Anyways, thank you so much, Mo. Thank you, Papa Jhomani. Thank you guys for watching. I know it was all about Mo today, and if you guys need to know more of videos, need more of Mo, please tell us. Hit subscribe, and thank you so
People
much.
can follow Mo page.
yes,
He has a lot of videos and
He has
lectures.
He has a very interesting Instagram. He can
Yes.
do better on stories though.
I don't know why these days very less on the
Stories.
stories, Instagram. Last 6-7 months.
No,
you are
he's there. I do follow him, and I do
No,
the poll
Yeah,
also.
only yesterday.
not
since
that
6
much
months.
veg.
Yeah, I took a break 6 months.
Yeah.
Yesterday I was like sitting.
Keep subscribing to our YouTube channel, and bye.